Hey everyone, my name is Andrew from Anzac and I am part of the eosDAC launch team. So I'm coming at you with another video, this time talking about registration and the fact that winter is coming. And what I mean by that is actually EOS and eosDAC tokens are both going to be frozen at the beginning of June. And if you don't register your tokens, you could be in for quite a lot of trouble and pain. So we are going to sort this out in this video here. Okay, so to start off with, this is just a little flow chart to help you to know what action to take. But basically what it does is if you're holding your tokens on an exchange that supports the mainnet swap, that's pretty much the only exception. And that's only if you trust the exchanges, which I don't. I personally think you should be holding your own tokens. I hold my tokens in a ledger as that's me personally what I do. But other than that, you need to register your tokens. So this video is going to talk about that. Now, it turns out a lot of people here, if you look at this, all of this red here, that is all people who have not registered their tokens. And this data goes, this is April 4th from when this was captured. So you can see the trend is most people are not actually registering their tokens. So one of the things that I'm going to do is I'm going to explain why you might want to actually do that. So it all goes back to something called the Genesis block. Dun, dun, dun. So what we have here, the Genesis block, basically is like a spreadsheet that is linking and forwarding a balance of ERC20 EOS tokens and eosDAC tokens, and then linking that through the registration process with an entry for an EOS address. So it's the way that your tokens actually transfer over to this other side here. And so as you can see, this, let's say Alice has a balance of 342 EOS tokens. She's holding at this Ether address, and then she registers and she uses this public key for the EOS key, and then boom, she gets her tokens. Whereas Corey, who didn't register, doesn't get the tokens automatically written into the Genesis block. So don't be Corey, be Alice, or be Bob, or be Daniel, or George, or Irene. Don't be any of these other ones, okay? Register your tokens. Okay, so now why would you even want to be in the Genesis block? Like, what's so good about it? So this little chart here should give you a little bit of an idea of what might be in store. So let's say you've got your tokens here. Let's say you have 2,500 EOS. Now you are a good person and you register your EOS your tokens, so that gets included in the Genesis block. So now your tokens are written into the Genesis block, and then when the EOS chain starts and gets launched, you load your tokens in, and they're using the Genesis block, and boom, you've got your 2,500 tokens. But actually, any other sidechain or airdrop that is actually using the Genesis block as like their kind of thing that they're kind of running off of, you'll also get that balance of tokens on those as well. So there might be a sidechain like EOS Dark, and you could get 2,500 EOS Dark tokens. Or you could get 2,500 EOS Lite tokens if that's another sidechain. And like there could be, dozens or many, many chains. Who knows? It could be just one. It could be a lot. I personally believe, there probably will be more than one. So that is a pretty awesome thing right there. So you want to be in on the Genesis block because it gives you so many advantages. Plus, besides the just monetary rewards, it also makes everything much easier. So see, these are some of the reasons to register. So I'm going to start off with a quote from one of the team members here named Luke Stokes. And he says, "If you don't control the private keys, you don't own the cryptocurrency. Someone else does, and you're hoping they will give it back later." So that's by Luke Stokes there. So really, you want to be holding your own stuff. You don't want to be leaving this on exchanges. I personally will not leave anything on an exchange longer than it absolutely has to be, because I want to be holding that cryptocurrency myself. Okay, but besides that, here's some other reasons you'll definitely want to be registering your EOS and also eosDAC tokens. So 1, by registering now, you get your data forever written in the EOS.io Genesis block. 2, by not registering, you could miss out on airdrops, as I already talked about before. And these, if you hold on an exchange and they say they're going to support the EOS mainnet swap, that doesn't actually mean that they're also going to support all the airdrops. So you're kind of potentially losing out there if you're holding on an exchange. 3, if you don't register, you might not gain access to your EOS for a while. So this is because there might not be a process to claim your tokens that haven't been registered in the Genesis block for a while after. Could be like a couple months before that actually comes up. So yeah, you got to be aware of that. Number 4, if you own EOS, it will be easier and most potentially profitable to register now, not later. So by registering now, this is by far the easiest and least painful and potentially most profitable way to do the migration and registration process. And number 5, just to drill home the point that much further, not registering now equals pain, pain, pain. Really, seriously. I know that was cheesy, but seriously, it's going to be very painful if you do not register. So please do. This is in your best benefit, and that's why we're doing this video here. Okay, so now also there are better and not so better, basically worst outcomes here. And we've kind of broken them down here by gold, silver, shovel, coal. So we have these different categories here. So the best one, or the best use case here, is if you have EOS and eosDAC tokens in your own registered Ether like account. So basically all of them, or at least, if you can have multiple accounts, but if there's a bit of EOS and a bit of eosDAC in those accounts, that's the best outcome for the eosDAC tokens, because then you also have an EOS balance on it as well. However, it's still okay, just not as good, if you only have eosDAC tokens in the account with no EOS. What's not good, shovel, third place, is eosDAC tokens in your own unregistered Ether wallet. So that wouldn't really be good, because now you're going to have to do that manual process and you're going to cause yourself a lot more problems. And you could also miss out on airdrops potentially too. Okay, and then the worst one, this is eosDAC tokens on an unsupported exchange. You just lost your tokens because they won't be swapped over. So the only exchanges that have actually officially announced they're going to support the eosDAC mainnet swap are Bbox and OpenLedger. And different exchanges have announced support for the EOS token, but those might not be, they obviously don't exactly match up. Like Binance is doing the EOS one, but they're not supporting this eosDAC thing as far as they've officially announced at this time. So yeah, that's just something you have to watch out for. But in all cases, if you're holding your own thing and you register it yourself, you're good to go in all cases. So by far, it's the best option. And it's really not that difficult to register. So we're going to walk through that. So here's what you're going to need to get started. So 1, some EOS and eosDAC tokens to register. 2, a safe place to store and backup information. 3, your own Ether wallet. So I really suggest Mu, MetaMask, Ledger, Trezor. I personally like Ledger, but that's not really an endorsement or anything. That's just what I personally use. But Trezor is fine, MetaMask, Mu, those ones are good. Just make sure that any other wallet type that interfaces with Mu is also ERC20 compatible fully. Just make sure that it's compatible, but these ones definitely are compatible here. Then we also have enough Ether to cover the gas fee. It shouldn't be more than maybe $2 at the most. Unless the Ether network is super clogged, and then it could be more. So, but it really isn't that expensive. And then time to get it done. So it doesn't really take too much time, and you'll see it's really quite quick once we go through the steps of what to do. Okay, so here's the steps. So, it looks like a lot, but really a lot of these are kind of empty and easy steps to do. It's literally clicking on stuff. This one is probably the longest step here. Okay, so I'm just going to talk my way through these. So we got 1, generate and write down EOS public-private keys. 2, go to myetherwallet.com. Also make sure you're not at a phishing site. 3, click on contracts. Then 4, select the EOS contribution. 5, click access. 6, click register. 7, enter the EOS public key into the field. Then 8, unlock and write the Ether address where you will hold your EOS and eosDAC tokens. So basically just, where do you want to, which address are you going to hold your tokens on, and make sure that's the one that you actually do this process with. And then submit, and you're done. That's it. All registered. So yeah, it's actually quite simple. Most of it you're just going to be doing through MyEtherWallet. And the only thing you're not doing on MyEtherWallet is just the public-private keys. Okay, and then also you can do the same, you can actually check that the keys are actually matched up and that your registration actually works through this process. So it's just going back to MyEtherWallet, contracts, EOS contribution, access, keys, and then you're going to enter your EOS Ether public address, the one where you're going to be holding your EOS and eosDAC tokens. Then you click read, and then it should return the EOS public key you generated and already registered. If it does this, your addresses are correctly registered. So then you're good to go. Okay, so now that we've covered that, let's just run through this. Okay, so you go to the EOS.io website right here. This is the official website. So you're going to scroll down until it says Get EOS. Now there's going to be a whole bunch of checkboxes to do, and you have to make sure that these are legit. Again, I don't take any personal responsibility for anything said in this video. This is information that hopefully helps people, but it might not be, 100% correct in every possible way. Like, things can change. So I'm just saying that as a disclaimer. I am not doing any personal guarantee. Like, you have to make sure that you don't get hacked. You have to make sure there's no, bots sitting on your account or anything like that. Make sure that you are being safe, but ultimately you are responsible for the actions you take. So you should be reading these agreements and doing all this stuff and making sure that, you are basically fully allowed to do all this stuff. Me getting all serious and getting into the legal stuff, when I see this, it just reminds me, yeah, I should probably say that. So just be responsible for yourself here. Okay, so now we click continue, we're in here. And really, you probably should read all this stuff. I have, and it's awesome. It's very, very well described, and it has a lot of good information. But yeah, a lot of people, I think, maybe might skip past this and think it's just not really necessary, but it actually is totally necessary to understand what's actually happening. But just for the sake of brevity, we're going to go down. Okay, so now how to get we need to generate an EOS public and private key pair. So you're going to click register here. And then it's going to have all this information, which is really helpful. So again, read this stuff. Then you're going to click My Ether Wallet. And then right here, you can click Generate EOS Keys. So you click, and it's going to generate. Boom. Now you have your own unique pair of EOS public key and private key. So you're going to copy and paste this or whatever you want to do. Even if you want to write it down on a piece of paper, just triple or quadruple check to make sure everything's exactly correct. You could print this off and keep it in, or do a cold wallet. It's totally up to you how you want to store these. Just make sure that you're comfortable with it and that you are taking every precaution that you feel that you need to. Again, this is all on you because this is what cryptocurrency is about. It's about taking personal responsibility for yourself. Okay, so anyway, so once you've got your public and private keys, then all we have to do is head over to myetherwallet.com. So we click here. They got this little pop-up thing here saying stuff. You can actually get around it by just clicking off to the side. Okay, so now we're going to go over to contracts. We're going to select a contract. We're going to scroll on down until we get to EOS contribution. Click here. Then you're going to click access. Now, to make sure this is the right contract, just double check EOS contribution, CCF is the end. And move that little nice smiley face thing. Okay, now down here, we're going to select a function. And we're going to go all the way down here to the second one at the bottom, register. Click that. Now it says key string. Oh, shiny. So what we actually have to do here is this is going to take the EOS public key. That's what we want to put in here. So we had that over here. So all we do is we just take this and we would paste that into here. Okay, and then you would take your selected wallet, your preferred wallet that you're holding your EOS and eosDAC tokens on, and then you would click, probably something here would come to say to unlock, right? Connect to MetaMask or connect to Ledger Wallet, etc. So however you're doing that, you would unlock the wallet, and then you'd click write. And obviously it's not going to work because I don't have a wallet or anything really plugged in here. But what will happen is it will ask for some gas to confirm the transaction just like normal. The main thing here is you just want to like, it's not really a big deal if you mess it up because you can always just redo this, but you know, you wouldn't want to waste the gas. So just make sure that the EOS public key is the right one. So definitely triple check that this is correct and make sure all this is good too. So once that's good, you send off the transaction. Should be, you know, take a few minutes or however long, depending on how busy the Ethereum network is and what gas price you're using. So once you got that, then you just hold on tight. You can check your address on Etherscan, and once it's got some block confirmations, you can come back. And then once you see those block confirmations, it should be done. But just to double check, because everyone likes to have a little peace of mind, you can refresh this, then go back to contracts again. Then you click down to the same place, EOS contribution, access, select a function, and this time instead of register, we're going to go to keys. So now this is just really asking the contract, if I give you this Ethereum key, return what EOS key you have paired in your database. That's all it's really doing. It's just saying, if I give you this Ether key, what EOS key should come back? Which one is it connected to? And so since you already gave it the EOS one, it should link these two together. So you give it your Ether address. Okay, you'd put that in, the one that you registered with, and then you'll probably see your little kind of, I forget what you call this actually, but basically the thing. Oh, the address. Oh, yeah, address identicon. That's what it's called. Anyway, yeah, I just hovered over this and it told me. So yeah, that's funny that I forgot that. But anyway, so you're coming down, then you click read, and this actually doesn't cost any gas because you're essentially just reading what's already on the blockchain. So you're not actually sending a transaction off. So you click read, and then it should just return your EOS public address that you pasted from here. And if it does, congratulations, you are now finished and it's all confirmed. You're good to go. Now your only final responsibility is to not lose or compromise these keys. So make sure you've got backups, make sure you're good to go with that and that they're safe. Okay, and that's basically it. So yeah, it's very, very easy, isn't it? It's really, really not that difficult. And look at this, all these people still haven't registered, at least at this time. So make sure that you don't, put it off. Make sure you get it done. Don't do it at the last minute, because maybe a whole bunch of other people might be doing it at the last minute too. And then that could drive the cost of gas up quite a bit. So it's better to do this now than later. Also, this site right here, it's called eoscountdown.com, is also really good. You can also just check if your EOS address is actually properly registered, just the same way. And it's essentially doing the same thing that we are doing right here, but it's just through this UI right here. And there's also some other guides that are helpful that I'm going to link, just so if people want to see something directly from the EOS blog right here. This one's quite good. It's a little bit on the older side because it was from 5 months ago, so they're using the old site design, but it's still pretty good. And then also we have another guide that Luke Stokes on our team, on our launch team at eosDAC, actually posted just yesterday. So this is also pretty good because if you want to run your own generator like offline, he actually walks you through that. So it's some pretty good stuff and pretty good information. So yeah, I'm going to link all that in the description, but really that's it. And yeah, it's not really that difficult and there's so many benefits. So please definitely do this. All right, take care. See you in the next one.